hunter must hunt. A hunter must hunt.
Happy anniversary.
A hunter must hunt. Hunter must hunt.
15 months. Poggers.
A hunter must hunt.
I'm getting water and then we're starting. I'm sorry I'm late. Don't be mad. Doki artichokey. All right, Finglui, Mugelwinoff, Cthulhu, Rilye, Gognagel, Faten. Welcome, everyone. Welcome into the stream once more, where we come to... I mean, I can't call them rituals anymore. We are gathering at the same time every week in in the same place, and we are conducting
5 months now.
Some
more to go.
We are
Let's
conducting
get this
some
Tuesday rolling.
activities that some may suggest would be rituals, but we do not use that terminology. No, for legal reasons, we cannot use that terminology. Welcome in. But today we're going to be doing some hacking. We're going to be doing... This is a PG rated stream, okay? And I know everyone is immediately Dan's game. Everyone is Dan's gaming. How is this stream PG? That's just because we're doing the Proving Grounds. This stream is actually rated R for Riley. Okay? R for Riley. Double R for Riley Reed. It's rated double R. We go past R. We go past. What are we hacking today? We're doing the Proving Grounds, hence why we're PG rated today. We are a group of passionate mollusk aficionados. Cephalopod enthusiasts. How's everybody doing in stream today? I see we already have an overflow of generosity in chat. Azizdix, welcome. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Welcome in. Szalik. Is it Szalik? I think that one is supposed to be an L. Szalik with the 2 months. Welcome back. Dark Eldar with 21 months. Holy hell, 21 months. That is insane to me. Welcome back, my friend. Then there is LJ, that's me, with the first time indoctrination into the cult. Welcome. Jiffaram with the 15 months. Pog indeed. The Crabby Old Man with the 2-month re-indoctrination. VR Linux with the 5 months.
A hunter must
and
hunt.
One Way Flight bringing natural cause into the cult. Welcome, my friend Natural Cause. Good to have you here. For those who haven't seen, Nahamsek has posted the interview. Those of you who missed Nahamsek's interview with me, or my interview with Nahamsek, he interviewed me, so I guess we would say that it would be his interview with me. He interviewed me on his channel about a month ago. Some time ago, month and a half ago or so.
A hunter must
and I hope
hunt.
you enjoyed it. I did get a lot of good feedback about that. A lot of people reached out and said they enjoyed it. I appreciate that. I hope that you got something out of it.
A hunter must hunt.
Saturday was hot as fuck in DC. Not a good day to walk around. Honestly, it was just very humid. It's very dry where I live. It's tremendously dry. So what really hit me in DC was the humidity. The Crabby Old Man. Don't worry, I'm going to lead you right down into the bowels of Rilye today. We're going down into the deep, into the depths of the Pacific, okay? Can I ask you what's the best way to learn hacking? Do try hack me. We'll start with try hack me. Start with try hack me and go from there. That is the best way. Did you hear about Offensive Security launching the user-generated content program? I did not hear, Johan Frisk. I don't know what that is. But it sounds like something I should probably look into. We saw the interview. You Zap aficionado, you? Yes, we are indeed Zap aficionado. No, we don't like Zap. Zap sucks ass. Nobody likes Zap. Okay? Nobody does. Except for M. Taggart and Husky. MT Taggart and Husky are the only people... The only people who exist who like Zap. That is it. Okay? I know that challenge called Hack the Box. There's another similar one called Try Hack Me that is better for beginners. Just Google Try Hack Me. I promise you'll find it. That's the best play to get started. And you can also get started by watching me. We're going to be doing some hacking today. And today is that day, that most hallowed of days, the day of our Lord Newbie Tuesday, in which not only do we do some easier machines, we do some easier machines on Newbie Tuesday. However, more attention is paid to just breaking them down, breaking down those machines, and making sure that everyone understands them. That no matter what your walk of life is, you can at least, at a basic level, understand what is being done on this machine. And hopefully you'll be able to replicate it if you follow along with me on the stream. My goodness, we even have more stuff happening. The hype train is real already. Sorovi with 13-month Tier 2 re-indoctrination. My goodness. Unstable Payload bringing us his prime indoctrination into the cult. Welcome, Unstable Payload. It's good as to have you. 3 months from This Is Gloom. Welcome back to the All Has Red team. Security Plus passed. That box is ticked. Nice job, This Is Gloom. All Has Red Draco's in chat for This Is Gloom. Gambit with the 9-month, pardon me, the 9-month re-indoctrination. Welcome back to the All Has Red team, my friend. Is it Lakash? Lakash, thank you for the follow. And Aziz Dix, thank you for the follow. Sazalik, not content with his own indoctrination, has brought us 5 new cult initiates. Welcome, Darth Vader. Nano Shadows, Utsnix, Defense, and Bin. Welcome to the All Has Red team, my friends. Thank you for supporting the stream. Oh my goodness, I've got a newbie question. Well, that's why we're here. Do you or anyone have any good popular sources for securely setting up your Kali VM for the purpose of getting started in CyberSec? Oh yeah, that's been done a million times. There's plenty of examples online with how to set up Kali in like VirtualBox. It's actually very, very easy. Someone of just about any persuasion can manage it, especially if you just download the pre-built Kali VM. Kali has pre-built virtual machines. Just download the VirtualBox-One. Just download the VirtualBox-One, and then just import the appliance, and then you're done. Then all you have to do is run the virtual machine in an ideal world. Should be very easy. VBox or VMware? I would have said VirtualBox until like just recently, but I've had some issues at work with VirtualBox. VirtualBox doesn't play well with certain other pieces of software that I also need, so I'm having to use VMware Workstation Pro, and that has worked just fine. So I guess I have to say VMware Workstation Pro, but that's like a $200 license. And many can't afford that. So between VMware Player, which is the free version, and VirtualBox, you should absolutely be using VirtualBox, in my opinion. JZ1999 bringing Lixasmoke into the cult. Welcome, JX1. Welcome, Lixasmoke, and thank you so much, JX1999. Dodo Fett with the 2 months. Have more. Thank you so much for your continued prime patronage of the stream. Cyphrin, thank you for the follow. Cthulhu Fountain to you, my friend. VirtualBox is easier to learn. I would agree. VirtualBox has more features as well. VMware Player is very sparse. Like you can import virtual machines, you can run them, but you don't have some more. You don't have even the more basic features like snapshots. You don't have. Mostly, it's just the snapshots. The snapshots are the biggest thing. VMware Pro, I would say, is better than VirtualBox, but VMware Pro is like a $200 license, so The networking is more limited. Yeah, VMware Player is quite limited. VirtualBox is going to have more features for free. It's open source. All right, so today we're going to be hacking some boxes on the Proving Grounds. I've already got my VM started up. Let me go ahead and get logged into the Proving Grounds today. Is it hard to build a vulnerable machine? I mean, it depends. Not really. It's not hard to set up a virtual machine and then install some vulnerable software on it. But if you're trying to make a challenge that is engaging but not altogether too difficult for the type of hacker you're trying to target, I mean, it's always hard to think of a puzzle, you know? It's always hard to come up with a good puzzle that's both fair and interesting to solve. You did mention something yesterday, something about giveaways while on Gar's stream, something about marbles too. Yeah, I gave away a lot of Try Hack Me vouchers on a couple of Sundays ago, 2 Sundays ago, playing marbles. Alhazred's favorite box was Sea Server recently. Sea Server was a good box. There was just that one part of it I didn't like. I didn't like the adminer part, and that was it. I think it was on Tibbs' stream. I agree, it was on Tibbs' stream. I was just saying I use marbles for giveaways, usually. Speaking of, let's get started with Stream Raiders. I don't want to do Stream Raiders and marbles. I'd like it to be mostly a hacking stream. I don't want the Stream Raiders and marbles are just supposed to take up we take a few minutes just to rest our brains and focus on something else, have a little bit of mindless fun. That's mostly what Stream Raiders and marbles are for. Sandor Clogabe with the 8 months re-indoctrination. Welcome back. Yagenbror with the first-time Prime subscription. Welcome, Yagenbror. Welcome to the All Has Red team. Slimmick Kadi, thank you for the follow. All right. We're doing a big giveaway, and I would say it depends on when I have time to finish it. But I got something big cooking. There's going to be a big giveaway in, I would say, probably 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks to get it ready. I'm trying to line up the prizes right now. I'm trying to decide how all in I want to go on the prizes. It's got to be more than Try Hack Me vouchers, okay? It's got to be more than Try Hack Me vouchers. Ragev, thank you for the follow. All right, let's start Stream Raiders here. I'll get logged into Proving Grounds, and we will get started. We will begin the degeneracy of the day. I can't learn hacking. I keep forgetting my password. Dude, every hacker forgets their password a lot. If you're forgetting it, chances are you're using strong passwords. Chances are better that you're using strong passwords. So that's actually a positive. It's not a positive you keep forgetting it. Just use a password manager, my dude. Use any password manager. There are a ton out there now. LastPass, Dashlane, KeePass. There's even Nord. I think Nord has a password manager now. NordVPN. Just pick a password manager and use that. That's what I do. Alrighty. Let's get the Proving Grounds going. Not me. I use the same password I have for 10 years for everything. Yeah, there's no flaws with that plan. That is the strongest plan. Is it cold over where you are? No. It's not super hot, but I'd say it's definitely warm. Yesterday especially was extremely sunny and warm. It was very sunny and warm yesterday. Okay. Getting logged in. Write your password down and always keep it simple so you don't forget. Exactly. Sticky notes. That could, also no flaws with that plan. And this is tongue-in-cheek humor. Just use a password manager, please. My recommendation on all of these is always going to be to use a password manager. What the fuck is this? I just want to do Proving Grounds play. They've changed this layout. What the hell happened? No, I just want to... Okay, view all. Okay, they changed the layout. Hang on. I'm figuring it out. Okay, they changed the layout entirely. And now I can't tell which boxes I've owned and which I haven't. I am offended. How dare they change the layout on me? I mean, the layout looks better, but it's worse in some... Oh, classic view. Wait, we still have classic view for 2 weeks. Hang on. Classic view. Give me that classic view, Offsec. Why are the new UIs always worse lately? I don't know, dude. Hack the Box has the same problem. The new UI fucking sucks. The old one sucked too, but the new one is even worse. The problem with the new UI is it's not immediately obvious which boxes I've owned and which ones I haven't, which is annoying. And now the classic view is not loading. Oh, there it goes. It loads. Hooray. My goodness, we have some new boxes. My goodness. They've added new boxes to this. So we have some interesting new challenges to choose from. Let's take a look-see. Let me just change this so there's no confusion. Proving Grounds. I keep saying I want to do a news segment on stream, and then the time for the stream comes, and I have not looked at the news all day. I need to stop doing that. I do need to do a news segment. I really want to do one. Next time we're doing a news segment for sure, okay? Alrighty. Click on top, takes you to the box. Yeah, we found it. There we go. We got this is the old view. The new view looks like this, and this is kind of garbage. Like, what do I click on here? Skills, I don't know. Just give me courses. Let's just do maybe all. Like, how do you even navigate this, dude? Like, I found Proving Grounds before. Is it in Labs? It's got to be in Labs. Yeah, here's Proving Grounds Play, but it's mixed in here with Proving Grounds Practice, so we just go view all, I guess. But I've owned this box, I'm pretty sure, and this box, and yet it doesn't say that I've owned these boxes. Like, do I have to click on them to actually see? Oh, no. Okay, so this looks better. At least I can see which box. Okay, at least that looks better. We'll use this one for right now. I gotta say that looks familiar. Yeah, it looks like Try Hack Me. Yeah, it definitely looks like Try Hack Me. Is he using Linux? Yes, we will be using Linux. This browser is open on my Windows host. I use Windows for my host machine because I like video games. All right, we're going to start with a nice easy box. It must be easy ranked because, again, this is Newbie Tuesday. If we finish the easy box quickly, which we usually do, we will go ahead and I'll throw some intermediates into the second box that we do. I like your terminal theme. I appreciate that, Fury. Thank you. I worked hard on making it look nice. So let's start a poll here.
Terminal theme.
Let's start this poll here. EvilBox-One is new, apparently. Inclusiveness we'll put in. We're going to only put easy boxes in here first, because, again, this is Newbie Tuesday. I guess I haven't rooted Lampayo. I thought I did. I can't. I do so many of these at this point that it's hard to remember.
A hunter must hunt.
Lampayo.
Hey Al. Just watched your video with Nahum and Stoke. I'll really enjoyed it. I'll 4Z Amjury.
Nice. Grinder, Hefe, Tacklementic, I think. Welcome back to the All Has Red team for 4 months. I'm really glad you liked the interview. I hope he gave you some nice insights. Do we really only have 4 easy boxes remaining? Inclusiveness. SAR. Wow. We're really out. We're at 4 easy boxes remaining, so I guess those will be the only ones. Hanatraj, trust me, we've done Hanatraj. These ones with the gray bars next to them are owned. We've done these boxes in previous streams. I'm not above doing boxes a second time, but I think we did this one recently, and I think I remember the kind of conceit of that box. Does it not show you solved boxes? Yeah, these gray bars on the side say that I solved them. This is the progress bar on the box. You can see it says progress. If this bar is full, that means I've rooted it. All right, get your votes in. We're only picking easy boxes first today. We'll throw intermediate boxes in the second round. So if there's a particular intermediate box you want to see, intermediate boxes are usually fairly reasonable on Proving Grounds, and are approachable for beginners in my experience. So, Offsec's new view sucks ass. Maybe we just got to get used to it. I don't know. I think it's a new UI that's intending to like unify all of their courses and their paid labs, are their labs, like Proving Grounds Practice and Proving Grounds Play, which in itself is fine. But as a streamer, I just want to see this. I want to see very quickly which boxes I've owned, so I know which boxes I should do. Disturbing lack of support for inclusiveness right now. I do agree we do need more inclusivity just in general. And the fact that Elliot Page is trending. I saw some crazy shit that some dude named Jordy Peterman was banned off of Twitter or something and basically pitched a fit on YouTube about it because he refused to call Elliot Page by his proper name. I don't know. Who cares? I don't need coding. You don't technically need to be a strong programmer to be a penetration tester, but I do highly recommend that you do learn a programming language. Eventually, you are going to hit a wall with penetration testing. Yeah, you can break into the industry without being like a software engineer or something like that, but you're eventually rather quickly going to hit a wall if you don't know any programming at all. You need to at least be able to modify exploits and tweak things intelligently between, like, at least Python, PHP, that sort of thing. And I highly recommend that you commit to learning a programming language or two pretty early on. The earlier you commit to a programming language, the better. Doing the Python basics in Code Academy enough? Yeah, it's a good start. There's plenty of places online where you can learn coding for free these days. EvilBox was selected. All right, let's start it up. Fire it up, chat. Oh, I have to connect to the VPN first. All right, this is my Kali Linux VM. You will have seen it before if you've been on this stream. Let's fire up my terminal. I hate that. I love cool retro term in general, but it doesn't remember the size I had the terminal last time. So every single time I have to make it the size I want it to be for the stream, which is irritating. I'm sure there's probably a way to tweak that in the settings, like what size it opens to. Is there? I'm actually curious now. The settings don't look good. I don't know what happened to these settings that they look so fucking shitty. But is there a way to like set the exact size of the terminal, I wonder? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. Doesn't matter. Okay, CD, Proving Grounds, Victor, what is it, EvilBox. We'll make a nice working directory to start in. EvilBox-One. Let's start up Tmux inside of EvilBox-One. Okay. All right. So if you don't know what this is, we now have this great green. We now have this bar on the bottom of the screen. This bar just means we're in tmux. So tmux is a terminal multiplexer. It lets me do cool things with my terminal, like split it in half, split it into quarters. I've made the font bigger so that you can easily see it. I don't usually operate with my font looking like this. Obviously, I'm not a psychopath. Let's open up a different terminal emulator so we can connect to the VPN. This one is the normal console one. Connect to Proving Grounds. Connect to the VPN. So this is going to give a lot of output. We don't actually care about what most of this says. All we're looking for is this initialization sequence completed at the end. That indicates that we do have a working VPN connection. And you can see that the current IP address of my machine, which is listed down here in the bottom of the tmux pane, this current IP address has changed to my ton0 address, which indicates that we do have a working VPN. You can see this with ifconfig ton0. You see that I do have an IPv4 address and a working ton0 interface. All is well in the world, okay? All right, let's start up EvilBox. Fire that shit up. Are you using Bash or ZSH? This is ZSH. I hate it when the new Kali update is running double line, so I changed that in terminal. I run bare metal, by the way, as my main distro. Yeah, that's totally reasonable. Everyone's got the way that their terminal likes it to look. I like this little layout that Kali has by default. I like how it says your current working directory and so on. I think that looks very nice and clean. So I do keep this. But I added this date as well. This date is useful because I keep a console log when I'm working. When you're an actual working penetration tester, you want to keep a log of your console. Just in case, so you can, for reporting purposes. Keeping this log reminds me of exactly at which time I ran every command. It also helps me going back, if the client is experiencing problems, I can go back and see, was I running a command back at that time? Is there anything that I can think of that I might have been doing to cause their networking issues or something like that? What do you use for console logging? Just the script command. The script command is pretty normal in Bash and Linux. Alrighty, so let's. The box says it's up now. Let's see if we can ping it. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh, there it goes. I don't know why that second ping took so long. So what can we immediately tell about the box just from this ping? Other than the fact that we can reach it. We're mainly pinging it just to make sure we can reach the box. Just to test network connectivity. But what can we immediately tell? Not Windows? Yeah, it's very likely not Windows. Because we're looking at this time to live field. This time to live field is largely arbitrary. This gives the packet a lifespan, so it doesn't just bounce around between routers all the time and congest the network infinitely. So this just gives the packet a lifespan, but the lifespan is fairly arbitrary. So you can assign this value to just about anything. So different operating systems will set it to different values by default. So right off the bat, we can guess this is probably some variety of Linux. It's probably not Windows, because by default, the time to live on Windows is 128. So it's probably not Windows. We don't know for sure. What does time to live stand for? What does TTL stand for? Time to live. Again, it's basically a lifespan of the packet. Linux sets it by default at 64. You'll see it's 63 though, and why is that? Because every time this packet crosses a router, the time to live is decremented by 1. Again, this makes sure that, and if once the time to live reaches 0, the packet is dropped. So it doesn't just bounce around infinitely. Pings have a tendency to get stuck in infinite routing loops with some networking configurations. So you don't want to congest the network. It's just preventing these loops from occurring. But this is important to but it only matters to us as hackers, mainly because the time to live value is largely arbitrary and different operating systems will set it to different values. So this gives us a clue as far as what operating system we're dealing with. So that's 63 hops? No. It means there's 1 hop between us and the machine. There is 1 router between us and the machine. The packet crossed that router to get to us, and the time to live was decremented from 64 to 63. That is the most likely reason. T-Mux greater than Terminator? Oh, I don't want to start the Holy Wars again. Me and John Hammond disagree on this point. I like T-Mux. He likes Terminator. Whatever you prefer. It doesn't matter. Okay? Whatever you prefer. I'm not going to tell you which is better. Different hackers will have different tools that they use. Try both out and see which one you like more. All right, so we'll start with a basic tool using a basic scan using a tool called Nmap. Nmap stands for Network Mapper. Network Mapper. Nmap is a port scanning tool. It is useful for scanning TCP and UDP layer 3 ports, if you're familiar with the OSI layer. And it's useful for identifying services that are listening on the machine. This is very important to us as hackers because usually to hack a box, there's going to need to be some service that we can interact with and potentially exploit. Okay? So Nmap is useful for identifying those services. Now, it isn't always the case that you need to port scan a box to hack it. What might be another way of exploiting a machine without exploiting any service at all? Let's say the machine has absolutely no services listening, no web server, no nothing, and it's just a black box sitting on the network. No SSH, there's nothing listening, no services listening, you cannot interact with the box directly at all. How would you hack that box? How would you do it? Hit me with it. Come on. Think outside the box. We can't? That is so false, Morpheus. Morpheus, get that negativity out of chat. You absolutely can. Can you awaken the dread Cthulhu from the bottom of the Pacific? You absolutely can. Keep going. Oh, see, now someone's getting closer. Redacted. You're closer. Ah! Scriptillion. Elaborate. Social engineering. What do you mean by that? There we go, Mr. Robot. That's one example. Phishing. Phishing. So, you do need in this case, you would need the user of the box to be interacting with something. Like, for example, checking their emails. They might have no services listening, but they could still have a web browser open that they were using to check emails. And if they clicked on a phishing email, that could very well lead to compromise of their machine. But it is very possible to hack machines, and in many cases this actually happens. It is very possible to hack machines using none of what I'm about to show you at all. It just requires usually a little social engineering, perhaps thumb drives in the parking lot, as Fromaster is saying. You have to think outside the box. That's what the most important thing is with hacking, okay? Lateral thinking, okay? We don't want linear thinking. Linear thinking is bad. That's like, there is a process to hacking, but it's not like step 1, you do this. Step 2, you do this. And then the South Park thing with question mark, question mark, question mark. Step 19, box is hacked. Okay, that's not how it works. Lateral thinking. You have to think. You have to... I know that's hard. That's hard for my chat sometimes. You have to think. You have to think. Okay? Use your brain and your creativity. Yes, but stop screaming at the camera. I'm not going to do it, who knows? I'm not going to do it. I'm excited about hacking, and you should be too. Turn it down if you don't like how loud I am. Turn it down. Do your own research? Yeah, do your own research. Yeah, exactly. There's no reason this has to be dry, my friends. If you want dry but tremendously technical and awesome and informative, IppSec's your guy, okay? IppSec is your dude, okay? I love IppSec. IppSec is a very powerful inspiration to me. Everyone who knows me knows that I respect IppSec deeply. But fairly dry. Okay? I think most of us can admit fairly dry. I'm not trying to be dry. I want you to be excited. I want you to be engaged. I want you to be listening. Okay? Dude, I'm at less than a 3% volume. Are you telling me that, like, you must have the ears of a dog? Like, literally, the slightest... Like, you have the ears of a bat. Like, your ears can pick up the slightest vibrations. Z-Dizzle Rizzle! I am having a conversation with your brothers and sisters in chat about how I am yelling! And you are making me yell more! I'd rather just make your mom yell! I do plenty of that already! You too, Maticus Maximus! You too! We love IppSec? We absolutely do. I'm not trying to rag on IppSec. I'm just saying he has a certain style. IppSec has a certain particular style, and I have my style. We go different ways. That is reasonable. Consti forgot his password at Dodo Fett. I just finished. You're literally gonna cause me to lose my voice. You're gonna cause me to lose my voice. Don't make me lose my voice. You don't want to see me when I've lost my voice. I will yell actually louder. I will find a way to actually yell at you louder. I swear to God, I will have it. All right. So, what are we seeing with our Nmap output? Well, functionally, practically speaking, Nmap is saying that port 22 on TCP and port 80 of TCP are both open. Okay? 22 and 80 are both open. Now, you will see that Nmap has this service column here, and it's saying that the service on port 22 is Secure Shell, SSH. Very common remote administration software. We see it a lot with Linux. And it's saying that this service is HTTP. It's a web server. However, Nmap doesn't actually know. It's only guessing what the service is based on the port number. With the basic scan, that is. If you wanted to actually do service detection and find out what actual service is listening, let's tell it to scan exactly port 22 and 80 this time, just so it'll finish a little bit quicker. And we add the TAC SV option to scan for service, to do a service discovery scan. So let's do that, and let's see what we get. I love the stream, but a hacker that screams might give the game away. How would I give the game away? Do you think that the box that I'm hacking can hear me through my walls? Do you think that this box is my neighbor? Is that what's happening? Is EvilBox-One my next door neighbor? I'm hacking my next door neighbor? Fuck no, dude. Of course not. The box is not sentient. No, I'm not giving the game away. I just think that a learning environment benefits from being high energy. That is my particular persuasion. So we do see, interestingly, we see a Debian distribution. We see Ubuntu very commonly. But we're seeing Debian, OpenSSH, and Debian Apache. This is indeed a web server. Apache is a type of web server. And OpenSSH is a type of SSH server. And we can actually Google this to find out which version of Debian shipped with this version of OpenSSH. And some of you in chat are going to be like, actually, it's pronounced Debian. It's pronounced Devian, Mr. Streamer. And they have to, like, wipe the Cheeto dust off of their hands before they do that with a napkin in order to avoid getting too much Cheeto dust on their keyboard. Not no Cheeto dust, but still some. I honestly don't give a fuck how Debian or Debian is pronounced. It's pronounced however your boss pronounces it, okay? Okay, so we can actually... Alright, so let's Google this version of OpenSSH with Debian. Okay. What I want to see is the Debian release. Debian release. What version of Debian released with this version of OpenSSH? Okay, this is 7.9p1. That appears to be correct. Debian Buster It did appear to be Debian Buster, and we can double check that with the Apache version as well. Now, do we know for sure? No, absolutely not. We do not know for sure. This is a game of information we're playing here, and I'm showing you to pay attention to the output of your tools and get what information you can from them. Apache, and then what version was it? Yep, and then Debian release. Let's find out if that version, Debian Buster, was the... Okay. Apache, which version was this? 2.4.38. Right here? Buster. All right, so we're very likely dealing with Debian Buster. Or Debian, if you're a fucking asshole. So, all right, so now, let's keep in mind, now it is pertinent to keep in mind, at this point, that Nmap only by default scans the top 1,000 ports. That doesn't mean port 0 to 1,000. It means the most common 1,000 ports. So, there are 65,535 TCP ports. So to scan all of them is going to take a little while, and we can do that with the TACP TAC switch. TACP indicates scan these particular ports, and TAC is just the extra TAC is just shorthand for scanning all ports. You could also do 1 to 65,535 if you wanted to for some reason, but there's no reason to do that. Let's output in verbose. Normally, Nmap won't show its results until it's done, but since this scan does take a little bit longer, let's go ahead and do verbose, so it'll tell us about open ports as soon as it finds them, and we see that it does report open port 80 and 22 right off the bat. How do you normally identify open ports on an engagement where you don't want a lot of noise? Well, first of all, you have to know what ports you're likely looking for ones in. In the case of the kinds of engagements that you're referring to, in which you're probably on a corporate environment and you're trying to remain stealthy, chances are you're going to be scanning for very commonly vulnerable ports. You're going to be looking for port 445. Chief among them is port 445, port 80, port 443, 8080, the really commonly vulnerable ports. Also, port 21 is another good example. But basically, you'd scan one port at a time, and ideally, you wouldn't even use Nmap. You would use just Netcat. Usually, when I'm scanning, I scan one port at a time with Netcat. I just make a TCP connection to that port to see if there's anything listening on the other end. 80 is FTP, right? No, that is HTTP. FTP is 21. All right, so let's see what is happening on this web server. We see that there is a port 80. Port 22 is also open, but SSH is fairly secure. Not too many remote code execution vulnerabilities in SSH. We'll come back to 22 if and when we find, like, for example, if and when we find, like, credentials, we can go looking at port 22 to try and log in with SSH. But the most commonly vulnerable port here is going to be port 80. So let's have a look-see. So we see the Apache Debian default page. This is pretty common to see. This is the if you start up Apache, if you just like service Apache start on your Kali machine, you're gonna have a port. Port 80 is going to be listening, and it'll look like this when you browse to it. Okay, I can actually do it right now just to show you. Let's just do it. Service. We got to sudo it. Sudo service Apache start. Oh, I don't even have Apache. I didn't realize. Okay, I'm not sure how to install Apache. I thought it was installed by default. Oh, it's Apache 2. I'm an idiot. You're right. You're right. It's Apache 2. I'm a moron. That was a test, chat. That was a test. That was a test. You passed. Good work. Good work. It's Apache 2. Okay? There we go. Now we get no error. We get new real fuck off for Fury. It was a test. It was a test. It was a test. You could also use systemctl. Doesn't matter. Same basic result. So now I have Apache listening. You can prove that with netstat, tech ANP, TCP, grep listen. It has to be all caps. So we see all listening ports. And we now see that port 80 is listening here. And so if we browse to port 80 on localhost, okay, not 8,000. We see the Apache default page. So this is the, again, if you just start up your Apache server, this is what you're going to see. Okay? You'll see this quite a lot in the real world. You will see this quite a lot in the real world. Usually this designates a web server that's not fully been set up yet. Service Apache 2. Stop. I'm going to have to sudo that. Oh, it's going to do it for me. KDE's got my back. There we go. So we're stopped. We stopped Apache now. Now it's not listening. I just wanted to do that to show you that this is the default page. This is normal. Sometimes cheeky little motherfuckers like to put like HTML comments in the default page for some fucking reason, because that's dumb. So I like to check this on CTFs just in case, but I wouldn't do this on a real assessment. Another thing to check is going to be robots.txt. So what is robots.txt? Okay, hello, Haxor. All right, so what is robots.txt? Robots.txt is how you tell your website to respond to search engine bots. So let's take Google, for instance. The way Google indexes the whole internet is it has bots that constantly crawl the internet looking for new pages to add to its search request database, okay? When it finds your website, the first thing it's going to do is going to look for robots.txt. And robots.txt is where you would put any pages that you don't want to be indexed by the search engine. Like, for example, admin login pages are very common. So you want to definitely check this. This is definitely something to check every single time you have a web server up. I know chat is going to scream and meme and him and haw that Al never checks it. Al actually checks it almost every single time because he uses the tacsc option with his Nmap commands, and tacsc will check for robots.txt. So don't believe chat when they say I never check robots.txt, because chat is full of shit. So this robots.txt appears to just have a nice little message for us in here. There doesn't look like there's anything else to find. You never check for UDP, though? It's not true. First of all, UDP scans are far more unreliable. They're far less reliable than TCP scans. That's first of all. Second of all, they take way longer. Third of all, as far as CTFs are concerned, it's fairly uncommon to see UDP services be vulnerable. You do see it now and then, but it's fairly rare. Okay? I will scan for UDP if I'm not finding anything on the TCP side. In this case, we probably want to try and brute force this to see if there are any... I don't suppose that this is a page, is it? Let's try and find out. Let's paste that in. No. Okay, so at this point, we want to try and find any pages that might be hiding on here that are not linked. So we can try like admin. We can try login. We can try .git is a good one to try. And as you see, all these are not found. But this is fairly slow, right? We don't want to go that slow. So let's use a directory brute force tool. We can use what's called GoBuster for this. Oh, looks like I lost my IP address out of the clipboard. Paste that in. Okay. So we give it the URL to brute force. So GoBuster is going to essentially just look for all of these subdirectories, a whole word list full of subdirectories, really, really, really fast. And it's going to see if we can find any pages that we can interact with. Because I can't do anything with this default page. The word list I like to use is directory list 2.3 medium. Let's add file extensions txt and php. So it's also going to append txt and PHP onto the end of every entry in this word list that I've selected, and look for files of those types as well. And let's do 50 threads, just to go as fast as possible. Well, you could go faster, but we don't want to bring the web server down. So let's see if we find anything here. Is Nikto deprecated? Nikto's a little old. Not useless, but a little old. It looks like we're using we're using a few too many threads here. You get this when you're using a lot of threads sometimes. As long as it's still working mostly. We do see a robots.txt. But we already checked that. So let's see if it finds anything else. Let's do Stream Raiders while we're waiting. Alright, if you don't know what Stream Raiders is, this is just a simple stream game. You can play this for free. No commitment, no subscription, no anything is required. Just exclamation point battle in chat. Click on the link that is currently in chat, the Stream Raiders link, and you can log in with your Twitch credentials and play Stream Raiders with us. We just battle these giant marbles. We are fighting marbles, it appears. Oh, man, the top is just getting clapped here. The enemy's got a concave on us. Oh, it's a massacre. Oh, but the tanks are holding firm. And now the bottom is coming up to reinforce. This is good. This is good. We're getting in there. No fear. Get in there, kids. Okay, now we're smacking them. Yeah, bag them and tag them, boys. There we go. Maticus Maximus with the 18 kill. 18 kills. His blade smote with bloody execution. Carved out his passage. Okay? There's a little Shakespeare for you. Oh! Oh, shit. We have, trivia. Okay. I think a lot of you are here because you saw Nahamsek's interview with me. I'm trying to think if there's any trivia from that interview. We need some nice trivia. Advent of Cyber? Oh, nice. Advent of Cyber is great. I found you through search because I'm interested in OffSec. Well, it's welcome, Asu dude. Okay, it's not going to be Conficker. If anyone who says Conficker and Captain Crunch, you're automatically excluded. Maticus Maximus, you're already excluded from winning. Get fucked. Let's see. Okay, what? Okay, we just used... This is Newbie Tuesday, okay? This is Newbie Tuesday. So I want to use a question that's appropriate for newbies, okay? I like to use GoBuster. I like to use GoBuster for my directory brute force tool. There are a number of other tools you could use for this. What is one that will do recursive searching? What is one that will search recursively? As in, if it finds a directory, it will it'll start the brute force up over again inside that directory. The answer is Ferox Buster. And Embargo DC technically was the fastest, even though I hadn't even finished saying the fucking thing. But let's see if Embargo DC is even in here. He's not, so he gets timed out instead of a reward. Congratulations, Embargo DC. Enjoy your timeout. Just a Guy also gets timed out. It's going to be a bloodbath in here. It's going to be a bloodbath. All right, who was next? Who was next? Sazalik? Timed out. Everyone's getting timed out today. Everyone's getting timed out. Did you announce the rules? No, but I don't care. This is my stream. Do you think I give a fuck? Imagine thinking I give a fuck about being fair. Is everyone just getting timed out? Everyone's getting timed out. Everyone's getting timed out. You know what? We're going to give it to Mills Gold. Mills Gold has the most assists. He gets it. You're all degenerates. You disgust me. You disgust me. You disgust me. Hang on, I gotta untime out everybody, because I'm only kidding. I gotta untime out everybody. Who was the first guy I timed out? Who was the first person? I untimed out just a guy. Who was the first person? Man, I think it deleted the fucking Embargo DC. That's the one. Thank you. I normally do time people out because the reason we're doing the trivia is to give away the 200 gold prize here. But I'm not going to do it today because everybody was getting timed out. Like, I'm banning half the chat. It's a bloodbath. It's like a Holocaust in the chat. Equally as bad morally as the Holocaust. That's a joke. That's a joke. Don't clip that. That's a joke. That's a joke. It's a joke. Stop clipping it. I can feel you clipping it. Stop it. Stop. Okay? Oh, we see a secret directory. Perfect. If you want to keep things secret, you put it in a directory called secret. That's what we know. So we, let's look in. So we see, this appears to be just an empty page. Let's look in the view source.
What are you doing?
What do you think I'm doing, Christy? Christy! I'm hacking this box for you! Oh, it looks like Age of Music wants a 5-minute timeout. Hang on. Age of Music is requesting a timeout. That is fine. Your wish is my command. There you go. You enjoy that. Enjoy that timeout. You earned it. All right. What else did we see? Did I miss something? Did I miss something? I don't think I missed anything. I think we just have to brute force the secret directory now. So... secret. So, again... I mentioned Ferox Buster. Ferox Buster would have automatically started scanning inside this directory. I don't prefer to use Ferox Buster. I've had some bad luck with it in the past. Sometimes it misses directories that I need to see, or in the past it's missed some stuff for me. And also I've had it crash some web servers because it spins up a lot of threads. Maybe adjust the threads because it seems to be timing out. No, it must be 50. I must go as fast as possible, okay? Go faster. I'd do 100 threads if I thought it wasn't going to crash it. Real hacker? Well, technically I am a real hacker. Evil.php. That looks interesting. Let us have a look-see at evil.php. And we still get a fat load of nothing. Let's look at the page source. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, okay? We can't look at the page source. That's illegal. Mike Parsons said so. The whole state of Missouri says it's illegal to view the HTML source code of a page. But listen, me and Parsons have a deal, okay? CMD equals ID for laughs, okay? Well, to be clear, if that actually works, it will be funny. Okay, it doesn't work. But, okay. So, right now we see a PHP page. This page likely has content. Okay? This page likely has some content for us. However, there's none of it that's getting displayed to us. Okay? None of it is getting displayed to us. So, at this point, we need to brute force it in a different way. We specifically need to brute force this file to see if there are any parameters. We can't view the source. The source will not show us. The page source will not show us anything interesting in this case. We need to brute force the parameters of this file to see if there are any interesting parameters that might be exploited. So let's do. We can use a tool called wfuzz for this. Some people in chat will say ffuff. That is also fine. I just prefer wfuzz. That's what I've used historically. So the easiest way to do this is probably going to be just to do something like... Okay. Can try... So the place parameters start is with a question mark. That signals in the URL bar the start of the URL parameters. So we're going to fuzz parameter names first. So the way wfuzz works is you replace whatever you want to fuzz with the word fuzz. And we can do ID first to see if there is a way that something that executes commands in there. So the word list we're going to use is user, share, I guess sec lists. Is it going to be web content? It's probably going to be discovery, maybe fuzzing. Fuzzing. Is there a list of parameter names? We're looking for parameter names. Fuzzing strings. I swear to God there's one for parameter names. Is it discovery web content? Burp parameter names. That's what I'm looking for. We want that. Burp parameter names.txt. And let's launch that and see what we get. Okay. So we see that wfuzz currently is just returning all of the answers, or all of the results of all the. So it's going to take all of the. It's going to take literally every single one of these words and try to input it into this parameter where we put the fuzz. And it's going to try to put every single word in here and see which ones return 200 OKs. In this case, we see that we get no content back with any of these. We want to ignore these so we can tell wfuzz to skip them. Tech H, I think it's HH0. For 0 characters. It is not HH. I always forget. It is 0 characters. What the fuck? Oh, it's tac HH. Oh, my bad. I was actually right for once. Yeah, there are other word lists you could use, absolutely. Start with this one. See if we get anything. It may not respond, even if there is a parameter, it may not respond to ID. Basically, we're trying to get the web server to return us any content that gives us any information about what it does. Oh, did not start the next Stream Raiders battle. Good call. Thank you for letting me know. Go ahead and do that. Okay. Can you get too many requests using wfuzz, and do you need to use proxy chains with it? Proxy chains will not work. Proxy chains is quite slow, so it won't be fast. WFuzz would work with proxy chains, I think, but it would not be fast. Proxy change is quite slow. Have you been on any podcasts? I'm actually in talks to be on another podcast pretty soon, but I'll tell you more about that when it coalesces. Okay, so we didn't get anything with the ID parameter. Someone said to try the with ID in there. Someone said to try Raft. Is Raft in here? Where is Raft located? Yeah, proxy chains is ass. No, it's not. I use proxy chains all the time. I love proxy chains. Do you know why I love it? I don't care if it's slow. I'm not fuzzing through proxy chains. Proxy chains is great because it's verbose. And because it's easy to use. Raft words and web content. Okay. Web content. Raft. Raft, large words, I guess. Let's do lowercase. Linux is case sensitive, and this is a Linux box we're attacking. And I'm suspecting that whatever parameter they want is going to be lowercase. I don't know that for sure, but it's just a hunch. It's an educated guess. Let's see if we get anything from that. If we don't get anything from that, we'll try some other things in this parameter. Perhaps maybe a file. We can see if there's a way to reveal files on the server. We're looking specifically for ways to execute commands in this particular case. But there might be ways to view files. There might be ways to do any number of other things. Why does that happen with paste sometimes? What do you mean? What happen with paste sometimes? Who am I? No, ID works the same as who am I. Well, it gives you more information than who am I. That's just what I prefer on Linux. You're not fuzzing oh, you're telling someone else. Okay. We'll find something. A lot of times, this is what hacking is, friends. You might say, but Mr. Streamer, this is boring. And because, like, every time you've seen hacking, you, like, watched National Treasure, where the guy sat in the bathroom and just saw, like, random hex, like, scrolling down his screen, and he's like hacking into, like, the fucking Smithsonian or some shit. Like, that's and then he's like I'm in. Okay? We don't do any of that on this stream, okay? Only real hacking. We never say I'm in, ever. Okay? We never say that. And this is a lot of times what hacking is. We see a PHP page here. This PHP page probably has some functionality that we can play with, but we don't really know what the functionality is, and there's no way for us to know. We need to see the source code of evil.php to know. So we just kind of gotta throw a bunch of crap at it and see if it returns anything interesting. Is this some kind of predefined scenario? It's a challenge. This is a hack challenge that we're taking on Offensive Security's Proving Grounds. We're trying to hack into this machine located at this IP address. We're trying to gain control of it because we are hacker men, okay? Do my fit deck while we wait. Did someone redeem a fit deck? Someone did redeem a fit deck. Hang on. Let's do fit deck while we wait. Now, I'm noticing this is taking a lot longer. I'm wondering if I can give it more threads. $110K. Yeah, I did use large, didn't I? All right, so it's probably... Let's just go back to the old one. Let's go back to the other one because it was a fairly short word list, and I've had success with that word list in the past. Let's just do the parameter names. And instead of ID, let's just put in, let's put in etc passwd. Now, why would we put in etc passwd if we were looking for some functionality to reveal files? Why etc passwd specifically? Yeah, redacted is right. Because everyone can read it. because that's a file that we know for sure exists on Linux. That is a file that exists, and it must, by default, be world readable. Everybody must be able to read it, because that's how Linux works. And also, it gives us important information, like users on the machine. Lots of important information in there if we find it. So, the hell did I mess up? What is the concern? Oh, did I do the tac-tac-H again? Oh, okay. I hit up arrow and then forgot to change my own thing. All right. We'll let that run. I'll do a fit deck really fast because we like to promote fitness on this chat. On this channel, we'll do flutter kicks. Flutter kicks. We'll do 28 flutter kicks here. My goodness. What have we here? So we see, interestingly, the application has actually returned something if command is placed in here. So real quickly, before we do the fit deck, which we will do in just one moment, let's slap this in here. And let's put the word command in here. My goodness. This is the etc passwd file. Now, you might say this is hard to read. If we just right-click and view source, it'll be much clearer. The new lines will show up. So we can see, here we can see all the user information on the machine. So what we have here is a local file disclosure. A local file disclosure vulnerability. I'm using specifically local file disclosure because I know it'll piss off Tiberius. So let's do the flutter kicks and just let him stew and mold a little bit. Alrighty. Alright, can everybody see me? I need to make proper eye contact. I guess we'll do 30 of these puppies. There we go. Some flutter kicks. Alrighty. Is he stuck? He is not stuck. We just found a local file disclosure vulnerability. So what are we looking for in all this mess? So what is this what is this actually? This is the etc passwd file. This contains information on all the users on the system. Linux makes this file world writable because all the services and programs on the box need to be able to read user information. Okay? How does the parameter translate to give the output of the file? We don't know. We don't know. All we know for sure is that evil.php accepts a parameter called command that appears to show us a file. We didn't get anything with the ID command through wfuzz, so that doesn't seem to be anything. It probably specifically is just loading a file. This is always something to fuzz for if you're doing fuzzing. etc passwd is super common to just kind of slap in there. If you want to be a little bit more comprehensive, you can do something like this. So in case you have some kind of a directory traversal vulnerability as well, something like this, it won't affect, in this case, it won't affect the vulnerability. We can still see etc passwd. But let's say, for example, that evil.php was only designed to read files in a specific directory. This could bypass that and allow us to read any file in the system. Yeah, we could also try a simple command injection. We could also try, like, ID here. Like, semicolon ID. Or we could try... We could try some simple command injection strings. Nope. We could try backticks. There's a bunch of ways to execute commands inline in Bash. So none of that seems to be working. So we'll just look at etc passwd. So we can read files on the system. What file do you think we might want to look at? Look at etc passwd here. What file do you think that we might want to look for next? The Apache logs are definitely something we could look at. Apache 2 logs are definitely something we could look at. But the first thing to look for would actually be right here. We see that most of these... We see that every Linux machine is probably going to have a lot of users on it. Most of these users are not interesting to us. Like, for example, you can tell if they're not interesting usually if they have, like, user sbin no login. That means you're not designed to log in as them. So it's unlikely that that you're going to get anything out of them unless you find some kind of a remote code execution vulnerability using that service or something. Most of these are not interesting. This one has an actual login shell, so Maori is probably a legitimate user, like a human user on this system. So that's probably a lot more interesting. And human users often have SSH credentials. People are spamming IDRSA in the chat because that's the default name of an SSH key. So we can go looking in Maori's home directory for an SSH key, which is usually found in the home directory, in the .sh subdirectory, IDRSA. And my goodness! We see we have an RSA private key.
A fine addition to my collection.
This will make a fine addition to our collection of credentials. Okay, we collect credentials like we collect lightsabers. As a pen tester or a red teamer, you are General Grievous when it comes to credentials. You want credentials. Credentials are your trophies. Credentials are your lifeline. You want those goddamn credentials. Okay? All right. So now we can just copy this. If you want, maybe we can do log poisoning as well. Etsy, Apache 2. Is it in varlog Apache 2? Varlog Apache 2 access.log, I think is what it's called by default. Can we read that? No. Is it Etsy Apache 2? It might not be logging at all. Apache2.conf. We can look at the configuration file of Apache. Okay, let's take a look. We don't need to do this. We do not need to do this because we have an SSH key, so we can just SSH in. But I'm showing you this, like, if you did not find an SSH key, what would you want to look at? And my goodness, MSEC has raided us. Welcome, MSEC. Good to have you. Good to have you. Does Al even Apache config? That's what I just did. That's literally what I just did. Are you? Does Jifaram even look at the stream? Okay, let's see does it have a log directory? Directory tree. We want to see where it keeps logs. And if it is logging, Apache logdir error.log. Okay, let's look at Apache. Let's look at proc self environ. Look at the environment variables of the process. We can't see it. Can't read it. Or is it fd environ? No, it's proc self environ. I was right. Why can't I read my own environment variables? Oh well, doesn't matter. Point is, we have an SSH key, so we'll vim. What was the person's name again? I think logs are found. If we find, well, if once we get logged into the box, I'll go find the logging file if it's being logged, and then I'll demonstrate log poisoning just for funsies. Maori. So it's going to be Maori RSA. Set paste. Insert. We paste it in. And now we can just log in. Well, the first thing we need to do is chmod 600. Maori RSA. SSH is very, very picky about permissions on SSH keys. So it needs to have these permissions or more restrictive in order to be used. So we can do SSH tac I Maori RSA, and we're just going to log right in, right? We're just going to log right in. No problems here whatsoever. No issues. This is definitely going to work, and we're going to be in. Oh, no. Mr. Streamer! Mr. Streamer! I found the SSH key, and it still asks me for a password. And so I'm coming into your Discord DMs to ask you what... Okay, I do welcome all requests for help on my Discord, okay? We do get... y'all do be asking some dumb questions, though. Okay? Y'all do be asking some dumb questions sometimes. In this case, what's happening? Okay? What's going on here? Why is it asking us for a password? Let's look at the key again. Oh, cat Maori RSA. Oh, no! Mr. Streamer, it says encrypted. So this is an extra security measure that you can optionally place on your SSH keys. Some people do, some people do not. But the actual key itself is encrypted, so you will need to use a password in order to decrypt the key and get logged in. Are we just dead in the water? What can we do here? What can we do here? Is this key useless to us? Yeah, a lot of you have been saying SSH to John. You can crack this. You can crack this just like you can crack any hash or anything like that. So we can try and crack this. First, we need to translate this key. We need to get the hash of this key so that John can crack it. Okay? So we do that with a tool called SSH to John. And we're just going to feed it the Maori RSA. And it's going to output this long hash here. You don't have to worry about what this is. This is just a format that John accepts to crack this password. So we can do Maori.hash. And now we can do John. We can use rocku.txt. That's a good word list to start with, both in the real world and especially on CTFs. Usually if something is meant to be cracked, it'll be cracked by rocku in a CTF. Okay. And now we're going to see if it cracks. If we can figure out what the password is. And a very strong password. Look, 7 characters. Look, very strong password. All of 7 characters, all lowercase. No complexity whatsoever.
A fine addition to my collection.
Yeah, if it was only Unicorn 123 though. Exactly, Unicorn 123. This box is unhackable. I read it on the OffSec subreddit. It do be like that. Especially on how to hack. What did I see the other day on how to hack? The how to hack subreddit? You guys be over there? On the how to hack subreddit? Hang on, what did I see the other day? I saw... No, it was a guy... No, a guy was trying to use GoBuster on how to hack. Like this was literally like yesterday. Maybe 2 days ago. And he was like, I don't know, GoBuster is saying it can't read the file. What's going on? And he was spelling word list, world list. It was just like a simple typo. And this guy, instead of like checking to make sure his command is correct, is like, I don't know. This is beyond my abilities. Let's go to Reddit. At least check the spelling on your commands, my friends. It's okay to ask for help, okay? It is okay to be a beginner, and it is okay to be a beginner and ask for help. But at least do your due diligence and make sure you're spelling everything right before you post on Reddit, you goddamn apes. Okay? We're all apes. Unironically, we are all apes. The human beings are apes. We are part of the ape subfamily. Okay? But, seriously. Okay, so now, when it asks us for the passphrase, we can put in unicorn, and now we get logged in. Does that make sense to everybody? Does everybody understand? Oh, right.
Hackerman.
I'm in. There we go. There we go. We did it. We did it, friends. Do we all understand this? Pretty straightforward stuff here. Hopefully, is there anyone in chat who has any questions about the hacking up until now? We have gained user access on this box. Now the goal is to escalate to root access, because Maori here is probably not a root user. So we can just... How to do Privesk? I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. Do we have any questions up until now before I continue? Because I don't want to leave anyone in the lurch. What is the average speed of a coconut-laden swallow? What do you mean, like an African or one of those European bull swallows? Because those things get pretty big. Like, I lost a cousin to a European bull swallow. Just came down and grabbed his head right off his shoulders. Okay? Just snatched it. Snatched him, and it, like, by his hair. It was grisly. Very sad. Okay? Do you know how to do the fuzz ID thing? Is that a common thing for blank PHP files that are suspicious? Yes. Very common. Because let me pitch to you my rationale. If I saw a file called evil.php, let's say I see a file called evil.php doing a go bust. What do I think the purpose of that file is? Like, try to think about the reasons that file might be on the server. Why do we think that file might exist? Yeah, persistence. At that point, I'm thinking this website may already have been compromised and someone installed a web shell on the machine. This is something that happens very commonly. I have discovered evidence of compromise on my own pen tests before. It's not too uncommon to see. Especially testing an external web server. Especially in the light of, like, there was that Exchange vulnerability that came out, like, last year. There was that Exchange SSRF into RCE. I don't remember the CVE number or what we were calling it at the time. But that was a big one. People were using it to throw web shells up on every web server they could find. What happens when you find those? I notify the client immediately. But my point is, if I see this file, I'm expecting it probably executes commands. It probably executes commands or does something malicious. Its intent on the server is to be malicious. So at that point, it's not too much of a stretch to look for parameters like command. To see if they execute commands. Does that make sense? That makes sense, Lil. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, like, that is the reasonable rationale behind an evil.php file. So, we do have user-level access, and we want to elevate to root. What is the first thing we can try? The first thing we can try is, we can see if we already have sudo permissions. Okay? Sudo permissions. So, we can do that by doing sudo tackl. Oh, we see we have a, is this Spanish or is it Portuguese? Do we have any Latin American fellas in chat? Is this Spanish or Portuguese? Yes, it's not an answer. Is it Spanish or Portuguese? I want to say Spanish. I want to say Spanish. So it appears that the box is in Spanish. No big deal. Let's see what we have in our home directory here. We see that bash history is being piped to dev null. In the real world, bash history is very important to look at. This is one of the first things you look at. Why? In the real world, if you compromise a real Linux machine in the wild, bash history is going to be the first thing you want to look at. Because you're looking for what the user is doing on the box. You're looking for passwords, credentials, any insight as to what the box is used for, so you can try and escalate your permissions. Okay. Usually in CTFs, like on Hack the Box or Try Hack Me or Proving Grounds, you're gonna see it piped to dev null because they don't want you to see how the box was set up. In this case, we do see the local.txt file, which is proof that is the first flag. This is the hash that we put in on Proving Grounds to prove that we have hacked this far into the machine. We can click on this little flag icon here, submit the flag. We paste that right in there. We save. And you'll see that the little progress bar will fill up halfway here. There we go. Does that make sense? Cool. So now, we're not done yet. We want to get root. We want full control. In this case, it looks like we cannot execute sudo. So let's see what groups we are in. Okay, we're in a number of groups. Unfortunately, all of these groups are all like your standard user groups that you'll usually see on a Debian machine. So there's nothing that's immediately exploitable. Some groups that are highly interesting to you immediately, groups that say LXC, Docker, ADM, LXC, Docker, ADM, any suspicious non-standard looking groups. The wheel group would also be good on CentOS. Yeah. So, no groups. We can... let's look in the home directory. I don't think there's any other users on this box, is there? No. Let's look in the root directory. What we're looking for in the root directory, see if there's anything out of the ordinary. And also to see if there's a .docker env file up here. If there is, it's likely we're in a Docker container, which would be unfortunate. Not the end of the world, but unfortunate. We don't appear to be in a Docker container here, though. We could check the optional directory, opt, opt. This is often where people keep things that they've installed, which often contains lots of interesting stuff, including clear text passwords, whatever. Let's look for SUID binaries. Okay, so Linux has a special permission. Some executables need to run as root regardless of who is running them. An example is the passwd. What the passwd executable does is it changes the user's password. In order to change the user's password, it has to authenticate the user, and then it has to write to the etc shadow file, which only root can do. So passwd, the executable passwd, not etc passwd, needs to run as root every single time, regardless of who is running it. So it has a special bit set called setuid. That tells Linux, hey, this file always runs with the permissions of the owner, no matter who is running it. And sometimes that bit is set insecurely on things that shouldn't have it. So it's worth checking for those files to see if there's anything any real quick paths to root. Unfortunately, all of these look normal. All of these look entirely normal. Whew. Is passwd in GTFO bins? Probably not. No. I doubt it is. But if you did see something in here that was... that looked weird or out of place, the first thing you'd look is GTFO bins. gtfopins.github.io. This is a ongoing repository of vulnerable executables. Passwd does not have an entry, so it's unlikely. Let's do Stream Raiders really fast. Ugh. My back hurts. Gotta stop slumping. Gotta stop slumping. That shit'll get you right there. That shit'll get you. Standing, rather? Standing is good. Standing keeps you at a much better posture. Honest thoughts about the boys and the deep with an octopus. The deep is a true based cephalopod enthusiast, and don't let you think that don't you dare say anything else in my chat. I will ban you. A true cephalopod enthusiast. Most kills, not GoPro with the most kills and the most assists. The deep is a freak? Dude, you have no fucking idea. Holy shit. Like, I can't even imagine how that is comfortable. I can't even... It hurts me to think about. First of all, octopuses have beaks. Okay? Do you know what's not fun? Do you know what part of... If I was going to name one part of my body that I would want nowhere near a beak... Literally the furthest possible portion of my body from a beak. Second of all, octopuses have like these spiral tongues. That they use to draw in prey into their beaks. And the tongues have spikes on them. So, again, if I was going to list the members of my, the parts of my body that I would not want near these things, I'm just saying there's one that I would start with. Star was here a second ago. Where did she go? Sweet Pea. Star, come here, honey. Where did you go? Damn it, I was going to pick her up, but I was too busy talking about octopuses. Alright, let's start the next battle. Kink shaming. I'm not kink shaming the deep, okay? No one is kink shaming the deep here. He is entitled to like what he likes, okay? I'm just saying... I don't understand how it's comfortable. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Alrighty. So we look for SUID binaries. What else can we look for? We can run pspy. Let's run pspy really fast. I do not do these boxes ahead of time, if you didn't know. What you're seeing is the organic process of me figuring out the box. Okay? And sometimes boxes take us a lot longer. Like Sea Surfer took us, what, 7 hours? All told? All in, Sea Surfer probably took us 7 hours. So pspy is useful for spying cron jobs. Pspy stands for process spy. It's going to let us look at running processes and see if there are any running as root, any cron jobs running as root that we want to take a look at. Let's go back over here. Let's cd into the home directory. And let's do wget 192.168.49.216. I'm hosting my pspy executable on a simple web server in Python, and I'm just going to access it with wget and pull it down. Pspy 64s. There we go. Now we have to chmod plus x pspy. And now we execute it. We see if we get any cron jobs. So if this doesn't work, we're probably going to want to look at running linps next. I appreciate that you actually do that. I like the way you think while you hack. That was my intent. When I first started streaming, my intent was if you want to watch a walkthrough of the box, there's probably 1,000 of walkthroughs of the box that you could watch. What you want to see is the authentic process of an experienced penetration tester attacking the box. You want to see the mistakes that I make. You want to hear my reasoning as I go through stuff. That's what you want to hear, okay? That's what you're here for, as far as I'm concerned. And also, you're here for memes. What is the valid source of pspy? That is correct. GitHub, whatever that GitHub is you just posted, looks like it was correct. Yeah. Just go to the releases part of that GitHub. He has compiled releases for you right there that you can pull down. And the malding? Yep, of course the malding. Always the malding. So it looks like we're not getting anything. Usually if we would have seen a cron job, we were supposed to see a cron job running. There was nothing, so we haven't found just about anything yet. So let's go ahead and run Linpeas. I try to avoid running Linpeas first anyway. Not to say that Linpeas is bad, just because I like to check for common stuff first. Quick common vectors first, before I start running huge, like, enumeration tools that I have to sift through a lot of information for. So we're looking cdps, techng, sudo git pull. Let's do a git pull to make sure we have the most up-to-date version. We do. Sudo python 3 tacm. We're going to do the same thing with linpeas. We have linpeas.sh here, and we're just going to pull it down and pipe it into curl. Or pipe it into bash. Pipe it into bash. We don't have curl? Okay. Looks like we have wget and not curl. wget. Pull it down. Chmod plus x linpeas.sh. Linpeas.sh. And linpeas is a huge enumeration script that's going to give us a lot of information on the box. It takes a little while to go through it, so I just like to... okay, I saw something. What the fuck? So one useful thing that linpeas does is it will highlight things that it thinks are particularly interesting. If something's highlighted in yellow, that means that Linux thinks it's very interesting. In this case, or linpeas. In this case, linpeas is informing us that that we can write to etc passwd. etc passwd appears to be writable. Let's take a look-see. It is. This should not be the case. Okay? This absolutely... Everyone needs to be able to read etc passwd, but writing to it is another matter. That is an entirely a different matter. So I'll show you what etc passwd is supposed to look like. We see that these are the correct default permissions on etc passwd, where everybody can read the file, but only root can write to the file. Okay? So what can we do? What can we do with a writable etc passwd? Well, first... God damn it. Did they give me a text editor at least? Good. Okay. There's a number of things. The answer is there's a number of things we can do. The one that least disrupts the box is going to be to just add your own user. We can add another user to the box and make it a root user. So, do we have OpenSSL? Okay, OpenSSL. I think it's passwd. Unknown option tac h. Tac help for summary. Okay. Standard Unix password algorithm. Okay. And do I just put the password in here? Let's just try Cthulhu fhtagn 123 exclamation point. There we go. That seems reasonable. So hopefully that's correct. I haven't done this in a little while, and I'm not going to Google it. I'm not going to Google it unless it fails. So we can do alhazred, colon. Why does it not typing? Thank you. And we can just paste the password in there. This little X is where the password used to go. If you're wondering why passwd, why etc passwd is named passwd, despite there being no passwords in it, it's because there used to be. On the original build of Linux, etc passwd had encrypted passwords inside of it. Like this one. Or password hashes inside of it. They very quickly decided that was a really bad idea in a file that needed to be world readable. So they invented etc shadow instead. Now on modern versions of Linux, etc shadow has the passwords in it, but etc passwd can still have passwords in it for backwards compatibility purposes. The X right here indicates that the password hash for this user is an SE Shadow. Okay, so the easiest thing is just to do 0, 0 here. Why am I putting 0 here and 0 here? What do these mean? Only root. Yeah, that means I'm giving it root permissions. This user is a root user. Okay? You can see it up here. This first number is the user ID. Every user on the box will have a unique ID, but there can be more than one root users. So this is the group ID, which is just for the group. We can also put /root as the home directory and /bin bash as the default shell. And then we can save it. And now we can sue Alhazred. You can put in my password here. Maybe that hopefully that exclamation point didn't ruin anything. And it didn't. ID, we're root. Does that make sense? So we now have full control over this machine. We can access the /root directory, and we can get the proof.txt, which only root can read. And we can put that in over on the... We're not done for the day, by the way. We have another box. We're going to do another box. Don't worry. If you want to see more hacking, we are not done. Okay? Any questions on that box before I continue? Again, it is Newbie Tuesday, so I like to take my time, and make sure I'm explaining as completely as I possibly can. Is there anything that we went over on that box that was confusing for people? In the meantime, I'm going to get caught up on subscriptions and follows. Grinder Hefe Tak Elementic. Hefetak Elementic. I think it is. I'm really glad you enjoyed the video with Nahamsek. And thank you for your 4-month indoctrination into the cult. 2 months with Fury with the 2 months. I like your terminal theme. Thank you. I've worked hard to make it pretty. GVNTTV, thank you for the follow. Aries, thank you for the follow. Crooked Warden, Wyme, Ruobins, Six Helsing, Teb Allen, Cave Dweller, Drop Now, Psychic Blaze, Geeky, Old Papa, Ireo, Kinda Normal Dude, Cats Are Aliens, accurate, Gorilla, Rubico, Pal Student, Rezo, Daisy, Latreep, and Termemret. Thank you all for the follows. Cthulhu fought into you, my friend. Where do you source some of your word lists? The lion's share of them are built into Kali itself. Kali has a user share word lists directory. I also install the sec lists. CD sec lists. I also install the sec lists repository, which has a lot of good word lists. And you saw me use those for the fuzzing earlier. Have you thought about starting an IRL side channel? What would I fucking stream IRL? What would you want to see? Me just lying around my apartment with Star watching The Boys? Like what would be the IRL cooking stream? Oh god. I think you'd rather see a Helen of Tor cooking stream, honestly. All right, let's decide on a new box. I swear to God, I've seen Helen of Tor burn cereal. Okay? That's what you really want to see. You want to see a Helen of Tor cooking stream. Okay. Alrighty, let's decide on a new box. Unfortunately, we're a little ways into the stream now, so I don't want to do anything that's too ridiculous. Let's just pick from the other easy boxes. Because, again, I am trying to explain stuff as much as possible, and that does take time. So I just don't want to make sure we go too ridiculous with the time. If you want to see more difficult boxes, we do more difficult boxes on Thursday and usually on Sunday as well. Thursday is Cthulhu Thursday, where we take on the hard stuff. I don't know what we're going to do this Thursday, but we'll do something. Lampayo. Okay. Get your votes in, kids. You could do site surveys of business vulnerabilities and then email them to the owner and stream them? You don't see any issues with that? You don't see any issues with me going out to a client and being like, hey, don't mind, I'm just streaming all the vulnerabilities in your office infrastructure. Is that okay? That's okay, right? Say hi to the stream. Pog. Say Pog Champ. No, okay? I don't want to go to prison. Okay? That sounds like I'm going to get my ass I'm going to get my ass fucking kicked by some cop. Okay? Please no. But a weeb? What the hell is a weeb-based cooking stream? What exactly is that? Would I be cooking rice balls? Like, what? I don't understand what a weeb cooking stream is. Have a good one, Mr. Robot. Thanks for being here. Understand that most of my cooking recently has been defrosting chicken. I eat a lot of chicken, kids. Okay? It's either that or Grubhub. Okay, I do Grubhub too. Inclusiveness. It was selected. So let us start that one. We have to hit stop. We can only have one box spun up at a time in the lab, so we have to stop this one. And then we can start up inclusiveness. When do we get the next Fighter Pilot L? When someone redeems it. I have a limit on how often it can be redeemed, but when someone redeems it, you'll get it. That's how it works. Those dino-shaped chicky nugs? You know how I am. I had my chicky nugs yesterday. I'm chicky nugged out right now. Stream view source in Missouri? Listen, I don't want to... Listen, Missouri isn't fucking around, okay? Women aren't even people there anymore, okay? Missouri is absolutely not fucking around. Like literally, if you hit view source... FBI, open up! It's just, they're coming for you. Mike Parsons himself, personally, is going to come for you. On a tender bender. I love that one. That's a good one. I haven't heard that. Okay. Guns have more rights than women in Missouri? Unironically, yes. Shit, that was so loud. Can you turn that down? Maybe? I can turn it down a little bit. But you don't like... I was going to pick like a really, really loud one. But I can't find a good one, so I'll just pick this one.
It's time to
That... I've adjusted what's on the soundboard quite a few times. That one always seems to make the cut somehow, because I'm like, I'm definitely going to use it for something. And then I never do. And I feel bad about it literally every time. Alrighty. Okay, inclusiveness. Let's see if we can ping it. We can ping it. We see it's very likely to be another Linux machine. I believe all the machines on Proving Grounds Play are Linux. That's for licensing purposes. Linux is a free open source operating system and Windows costs money. You will see Windows machines on the paid offensive security Proving Grounds practice. And furthermore, Try Hack Me and Hack the Box both have their fair share of Windows machines. And I highly recommend that you do some Windows machines. All right. So let's do Nmap, and we're going to do, like, everyone's got, every pen tester has, like, their own Nmap string that they like to start with. I like to rip off IPsec and do SC, TAC SV, TAC ON, Nmap, TAC V, TAC PN. Like that. So if you're wondering what this does, we'll walk through this command really quickly. So Nmap TAC SC. SC is going to run default enumeration scripts. Nmap has a number of enumeration scripts that it can optionally run. It has some default ones that just do really quick enumeration of the services. And you'll see that we get a lot more output with that TAC-SC. So I like to include it. It'll do things like checking for robots.txt on web servers and checking for anonymous FTP access on FTP servers. We also see TAC-SV for that version discovery. You saw that one with the last Nmap scan. TAC-ON means to output to a file, and to output to a file in the normal Nmap format. You can also output in XML format, greppable Nmap format as well. I just prefer the standard, and on stream, I just prefer the standard Nmap format, but in real life, I'll output to all formats with TAC-OA instead. The file is just called Nmap. We're just calling the file Nmap. TAC-V is for verbose mode, so whenever it finds a port, it's going to tell us about it. TAC-PN is telling it not to port scan, or not port scan, not to ping the machine first. Sometimes machines don't respond to pings. We've seen that this one does, but this just saves us a little time if we don't wait for Nmap to ping. So we do see that we have the same ports open, 22 and 80, but we also have port 21. And what runs on 21? At some point, could you demo auto recon? I think you're going to want to watch Tiberius's stream to really see a strong use of auto recon, considering that's Tiberius's tool. So watch Tiberius's stream for the proper use of auto recon. I purposefully do not use auto recon on the stream, and that's not because I don't think it's a good tool, because it is. I don't use auto recon on stream because I think it teaches you more to see the more granular enumeration that I do, rather than just running one tool and then going through all of the output of the tool. Does that make sense? It's for a similar reason to why I don't just immediately run linps on the box when I'm trying to privesk. I'll look for some other I'll do some granular searching first. Okay? But you get to say I'm in after 1 minute. That's true. If auto recon is in your workflow, by all means use it. I would recommend you being a little bit more careful about it in real world. In the real world, I would recommend you being a little bit more careful about it, is all I'm trying to say. Companies don't like it when you crash their web servers. And if auto recon is just throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it, you never know what might happen. So I'm not saying it's going to crash anything. I'm just saying you're running a higher risk of it. That's all. Okay, so we see the value of the TAC-SC option. You see that we took the TAC-SC, and we see that Nmap has included a lot of additional data about this FTP server, including the fact that you can log in anonymously. Disclaimer, while auto recon endeavors to perform as much identification and enumeration of services as possible, there's no guarantee that any service can be identified or any service be fully enumerated. Users of auto recon should perform their own manual enumeration alongside auto recon. Do not rely on this tool for exams, CTFs, or other engagements. Yeah, and that's a good CYA for Tiberius to put it in there. And it also prevents like newbies from just running one tool to do and trusting it for all their enumeration. It's better for especially newbies to see the more granular enumeration, and then they can use auto recon at a later time once they understand what the hell it's doing. We need Mr. Streamer narrating the upcoming auto recon commercial. Okay, well, if there's ever a commercial for auto recon, a legitimate commercial, I will narrate it, I promise. We see the same versions of OpenSSH and Apache as we saw in the last box. This is likely Debian Buster again. Okay, that's a verbal contract. No, it's not. I will lie about it. I'll say if you show the clip, I'll say it's a deep fake. All right, so we see that FTP has anonymous login enabled. This is actually fairly common to see in the real world. It's fairly common to see anonymous login enabled for FTP. Okay, it's fairly common, and that's because organizations often expose like simple like marketing information on their public FTP servers for anyone to access. It's this is information they want people to have access to. Anonymous FTP login is not necessarily a finding on an assessment. It's only a finding if you find data on it that you shouldn't find. As in, if you manage to find sensitive data on the FTP server, then it's definitely a finding, and a very serious one at that. So we can try and connect to this FTP server. Anonymous. We don't have to specify a password. And we are logged in. So let's do dir. Or this is a Linux machine. We can do ls or dir. It doesn't matter. And we see a pub directory for public, presumably. Just nothing. Okay, so there's just nothing in here. Is there anything? So no hidden. There's just nothing in here. That doesn't necessarily mean that it is not useful to us. We can try to Cthulhu.text. Cthulhu fhtagn. Put some simple text in here. I don't know why I'm opening up Vim for that. I could just echoed it in, but whatever. We can try to put Cthulhu.text. Let's see if we can write to the server. Could not create file. Let's see if we can write to pub. Put Cthulhu.text. And we can put. So we can actually push files to this server. That would be a finding. I would say that it is actually a finding if you can write to an anonymous FTP an anonymous FTP login. Okay? That's on a real assessment. I don't know if it's going to amount to anything on this CTF. We'll see. We will see. If we can write to, for example, maybe the web root. If this directory happens to be on the web server somewhere, then we could upload a web shell and get an easy remote code execution. But we don't know that yet. So let's go ahead and check out the web server. But before we do that, let's make sure we run an all port scan via Nmap. We're just going to do an all port scan here to make sure, because we always like to have some enumeration running in the background, some automated tools. And golly, this seems familiar. So we see the Apache default page again. Again, you will see this in real life fairly commonly. It's not too uncommon. Some CTF dipshits like to put HTML comments in here, so it never hurts to take a gander at the source code just in case. Let's look for that pub directory just in case. We don't see a pub directory in here. Do we see Cthulhu.text by any chance? We do not. So we're currently thinking that we cannot write to the web server, but through the FTP. But we don't know that for sure. So let's go ahead and run GoBuster again. Same stuff as last time. I don't pick these boxes ahead of time, and I don't know what these boxes contain. So what you're seeing, I did not pick boxes intentionally that look very similar. I don't know how similar this box is going to look from this moment on. But so far, it's looking pretty similar, barring the FTP server. We did try /pub. It didn't work. Let's try and... we do see... This is a normal file that you find in Apache. We could also look for... Oh, robots.txt. I'm breaking my own rule, chat. I broke my own rule. Nmap did check for it. And I can prove that. If we see... Remember, I saved the output of the Nmap scan to a file called Nmap. So we can just cat out Nmap. And we do see... that it does not tell us that robots.txt exists. This is interesting because robots.txt, Apache, Nmap should test for robots.txt. Fuck you. Interesting. Maybe it returned a 302 redirect. Did it return a redirect to us? Maybe Nmap didn't like that. No, it's a 200 OK. Wow. Okay. Well, it looks like Nmap, Nmap actually missed the robots.txt. Interesting. So what does this potentially tell us? This is a hint. I think this is probably a hint. It's saying you're not a search engine. You can't read my robots.txt. Is there maybe a way that we could make it think we are a search engine? Yeah, user agent. Okay? So if you're ever wondering, let's say you browse to reddit.com. Okay? Let's browse let's say you browse to reddit.com on your web browser, and then browse to it on your phone. You'll see that the layout of the file, the layout of reddit.com looks different depending on whether you're on your phone or on your laptop's web browser. Why is that? That's because by default, your web browser is sending a user agent with the HTTP request. Okay? The user agent identifies the browser as a particular kind of browser. So, for example, your phone is sending the user agent to say, oh, I'm a Safari iPhone. I'm Safari running on an iPhone. And that tells the web server what version of the website to return. If you're presenting the user agent of a Safari on an iPhone, it's going to send you a version of the website, hopefully, that's optimized for Safari on your iPhone. Does that make sense? In this case, we can try to manipulate our search engine to see our user agent to look like something it isn't. And incidentally, this has other uses too. Why else might you want to make yourself look like a search engine? Why might it be useful in some cases to change your web browser? Don't tell anyone I told you this. Don't tell anyone I told you this, chat. Okay? I am in no way endorsing what I'm telling you to do. I'm just telling you that you can do it. Okay? So, let's say the New York Times, for instance, because the New York Times is one of the people that is one of the organizations that does this. Let's say you want to read an article on the New York Times. What happens? You often get paywalled. As in, the New York Times is going to tell you the New York Times is going to tell you, hey, you got to buy a subscription to read our journalism. And let's say for some reason you just don't want to pay that. You just don't want to pay the New York Times. You want to you can. I'm not sure if it still works specifically for the New York Times. I haven't tried it in a while, but it used to be that if you change your user agent to Google's search bot user agent, the New York Times would allow you to read the full article because it needs Google to be able to index its articles. So when people search for it, it appears in Google's search engine's results. It wants that. Does that make sense? And it looks like Tiberius has given us a way to bypass a paywall. Does this do what does this do to bypass it? They don't show a paywall to a Google crawler. Yeah, they're just changing the user agent. They're just like literally all this seems to be doing is changing the user agent, I think. Or maybe proxying it? I'm not sure. My point is this is doing something similar to remove the paywall. Doesn't matter, okay? Again, I'm not advocating and saying you can do it. I'm just saying that you should do it. I'm just saying you can. So let's talk about how to actually... There's a no robots.txt as well. What the fuck is that? Let's look at that first really quickly. Okay, same thing. So let's do... we have to start up burp. I need burp for this. Is that legal? I will make it legal. Please send 5,000 target, but okay. Please don't send in Maticus Maximus any gift cards. And it is... I was prequel memeing you, Atherenator, but it is legal. It's not like anyone's going to arrest you for changing your user agent. Could you argue it's unethical? Sure, you definitely could. That's why I'm not advocating for it on the stream. I'm just saying this is one use for it's one use for changing your user agent. And now one way you can do this is with burp. Another way is like people are saying with curl. Let's see if we can user agent. So curl tac capital A will specify a user agent. Instead, before we use burp, burp is a big tool. We might need burp later though, so I'll start it up anyways. Curl. Let's curl http:// Let's just curl for robots.txt first. Okay. We can do curl tac A to specify a user agent.
Al-Hazred's stream, you will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
That's not a prequel meme. That's an OT meme. So we can look up what the Googlebot's user agent is. Let me just look at it. We want the Googlebot user agent token. It's just Googlebot? Or no, we just put this one. Maybe it'll take just Googlebot? I'm actually curious if it will. Will it just take Googlebot? It will. It just takes Googlebot. Interesting. I was going to put the full secret user agent string in there. Let's try putting the full user agent string in there and see if it... Oh, it actually doesn't like that. Just use Google. It's not that good of a filter. Yeah, that's fine. It's probably doing some kind of a granular filter. We can just do Google. Yeah. So it looks like it's just a simple filter. It's not looking for specific user agents or anything. It's just looking for something that starts with the word Google, probably. Like if I take the E away here, it probably won't work. Oh, no, it still works. I don't know. It's probably, again, yeah, it's probably a very simple user agent. But we see that there's this secret information directory here. But does everyone understand the concept of user agents in this context? Does that make sense to everybody? If you don't, feel free to bring it up. Bing doesn't work. It does for porn. You didn't hear it from... Again, that's another thing you didn't hear from me, Chad, okay? You know what? I don't even care if you clip it. Bing is better for porn. Bing is top tier porn search engine. It's like they made a search engine specifically for porn and then went out of their way to make everyone not use it so that no one would check the search engine history of Bing. Okay? It's perfect. It's ideal. But like when you're looking for like a specific video, like everyone's been in this case, right? You saw a porn video like literally fucking years ago and you can't get it out of your head. So you get on and you want to go look for that specific video, but you don't want to click on every single video to see like which one is the one you're looking for. Bing will just play it right there on the search engine page. You can just mouse over them and it just plays for you a snippet of the video so you can see if it's the video you're looking for. Okay? I'm telling you you need to be using Bing. If you're not using Bing for your porn, you got to be using Bing. Okay? Unironically, it is very good for porn. And nothing else. So we have this secret information. A DNS zone. So it's kind of heavy-handedly telling me what a DNS zone transfer attack is. There was also... But there wasn't DNS TCP open, was there? So port 53 has to be open for a zone transfer attack. So we might want to go buster. Let's do Googlebot. Let's do the no robots.txt. There was a no robots.txt too. Not found. Okay. The internet is for porn. Man, that's an ancient meme. That's from like old Comedy Central. That meme predates the word meme. Like, the internet is really great for porn. I don't think it was South Park. I think it's from Comedy Central. Like old school Comedy Central, like when I was in like high school Comedy Central. There's a bunch of robots.txt. Oh, okay. Well, we probably just want to go buster secret information, right? It's telling us about a DNS zone transfer attack, but in this particular case, the correct port for this is not open. Zone transfer requires TCP port 53 to be open. Or, I mean, I guess it could be listening on a different port, but we've already scanned all the ports. We've done a full TCP port scan, and it's not there. Now, I know what you're saying. Mr. Streamer! Mr. Streamer! My computer my Comp 1 Sci 101 professor told me that DNS works over UDP. What are you talking about with TCP? Yes, DNS queries occur over UDP, but DNS servers will usually have TCP port 53 open because that's how zone transfers happen. Configuration and zone transfers happen over TCP port 53. Okay? So both TCP and UDP 53 is associated with DNS. Okay. Alright, so we see en.php. en.php. Oh, we see another robots.txt in here, do we? You are not a search engine. We're doing it again, apparently. And another one. Let's just do Googlebot. Okay. Secret. Information. See if we get anything there. We get a not found. So it looks like it's doing a wildcard robots.txt. It looks like in the Apache config there's some kind of wildcard set for robots.txt. Probably star robots.txt that's showing us a particular page. So that's no good. That is what I would guess anyways. That's why we're seeing robots.txt in weird places. We're seeing stuff like no robots.txt and things like that. Got anything here? Nothing? Let's see. We could try Espanol. Oh, yeah, we were going to try en.php. Did we try that? Oh, whoops. Slash shouldn't be there. So that's the English one, and I assume it has Espanol as well. Yes. Okay. I'm still wondering what I'm supposed to be doing. The Googlebot thing probably isn't useful anymore. I guess we can look for that pub directory, huh? No? Let's see if Cthulhu.txt is in here. Nope. So, no joy there. Look at the source again. Am I not looking at the source properly? Let's look at it. View page source. Oh, I'm looking at the source right now. Oh, it's just including a file, isn't it? How silly of me. There is a. How silly of me. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is including a file here. So it's index.php, I assume, is the thing. And then it is, or is the name of the file. And then it's including en.php, right? Good. Or what is it, lang? I didn't do it correctly. It's lang equals en.php. And then there's lang equals Espanol. So this could be a local file inclusion, which would be inclusion used the correct way. So we can see if we can include a etc passwd, and we can. So what's happening here is that the index.php is configured to accept a language parameter that is including the intent. The intent is to serve up the content of the particular language that is requested by the user, but it's only requesting this file insecurely. It's requesting this file insecurely and not accounting for the fact that what if we just escape the directory? You'd put in all these // here to go back up to the root directory. Like, so for example, let me just show you really quickly on the terminal. So right now, if I type present working directory, this is the directory that I'm in. I'm in /home, /alhazred, proving grounds, inclusiveness. If I wanted to go up a directory, I would do cd ... Now, if I do present work, you can see my directory in my terminal, but I'm just making it more obvious. If you look at present working directory, you see that now I'm in the proving grounds directory, right? If you do that just a whole bunch of times, all right, let's just do ls. Let's do it this way. Is a little bit more illustrative. If we do ls, this lists the contents of the current directory. Okay. If we do ls ... it lists the contents one directory up. So the contents of my home directory at that point. Okay? From there, it's ls. If we just do it a whole bunch of times, oh, how silly of me. Just do that. We see that it lists the root directory. Does that make sense? So, it doesn't matter how many times you do this, by the way. You just need to do it enough times to hit the root directory. And then any extra ones are just ignored. Right? That's why I just I don't like count it out or anything. I just put a whole bunch of them in there. Because all you want to get to the root directory and then specify etc passwd. Does that make sense to everybody? So let's do the same thing. It looks like Tom is here. God damn it, Tom. You and your misconfigured web servers. We can look for a Tom's SSH key. Home Tom .sh ID RSA. Alas and alack. Alas and alack.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand. So
we do not have access. We do not have access to his SSH key. Either the SSH key is not there, or we do not have permissions to read it. Does that make sense? So what do we do now? Are we just dead in the water? Are we just fucked? PHP. Oh yeah, you could use PHP filters probably to read the source code of the page. I can show that off really quickly. We can do, is it PHP : / let me really quickly look up. Let me look up PHP filters really quick. So you can use the PHP tag to base64 the content. It's in my notes, but I think it's probably faster just Google it. And I can just demonstrate this. I already know, I think, what they want me to do. But I'm going to take my time with it because there's a lot of interesting things I can show off. So we can look at these PHP filters. So we put this in here. Source index.php. And now we get all this base64 text. What is this? What do we think this base64 text is that's here? Let's find out. Let's go over to CyberChef and see what's up. Paste this in here from base64. And my goodness. My goodness. That's the source code of the page. How is that happening? Well, we're taking advantage of this little used PHP filter here, and we're taking the file that is being requested, and we're converting it to base 64. Why are we converting it to base 64? Why are we converting it to base 64, chat? So it doesn't get parsed, exactly. So it's not interpreted as executable code. And it's displayed to us on the page so that we can simply decode it, and now we can read the source code of the page. Does that make sense? Cool, right? So that's useful for reading the source code of the page. And here we see the local file inclusion. This is the local file inclusion vulnerability. The contents of the the contents of the lang parameter are being included in the page. This is why it's called a local file inclusion, or LFI, specifically because of this include statement. That's what it's referring to. And it's going to include the contents of that file on the page. So if we just do a bunch of backslashes and get to etc pass wd, you can include etc pass wd. You would fix this by making sure that people don't include files that are unintended. You would sanitize, you would control for the ... slashes, for instance. Now, let's try and get etc pass wd with the filters. We don't really need to, but I can show you that you can. Right? Cool, right? Okay, so the first, we don't really need to use that, so instead I'm going to do etc apache2, apache2.conf. This is a good place to start. Actually, let me look at proc self environ really quick. Can't see it. So, no environment variables. Let's see if we have a log directory. If it's, do we have an access.log? We can do var log apache2 access.log. Nope. If it's there, we can't read it. That's usually where the Apache logs are located. We could go hardcore looking for the Apache logs, but I don't need to do that. I don't think that's the intended route. Instead, what do you think I do want? What do you guys think I should go looking for? Remember how we could upload to the FTP directory? Where's that at? Where's the FTP directory? Where is our Cthulhu.txt? Where is our Cthulhu.txt sitting? So we can try like /pub/Cthulhu.txt. No. It's not there. So that was only a guess. We need to look at the FTP configuration. So what type of FTP server was this? VSFTPD. So where does VSFTPD store its configuration file? Config file Linux. Etsy VSFTPD, VSFTPD.conf. That seems fine. Let's take a look-see. Oh, do I need to //? No, I do not. VSFTPD, VSFTPD.conf. It's not there. This one says Etsy VSTPD. Did I spell it right? Space after dot? Where? Oh, it does have a space. Good call. Thank you. Still not found it. Shit. What the fuck? VSFTPD.conf file. Etsy VSFTPD. Damn it. Can we not read it? Oh, this one's in Etsy. Let's try there. Maybe if it's not, if we can't find it, it could be we're not supposed to read it, but it seems like we're supposed to. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's in Etsy. Fucking stupid. Oh, and of course chat is telling me. All right, so where is the directory that it sits in? Where is the root directory of FTP? var FTP. It appears to be in var FTP. Pub. Cthulhu.txt. And alas. We've found our file. Why is that relevant to us, chat? All we're reading is some text. Why does it matter if we can just throw a file up on the server and then browse to it? Yeah, because this web server is parsing PHP. So if it's parsing PHP and executing PHP, by parsing I mean executing PHP, then we can just upload arbitrary PHP and have it executed for us. So let's write some arbitrary PHP. So PHP has to start with these tags and end with these tags. Echo Cthulhu fhtagn. We're just going to have it still echo Cthulhu fhtagn to the screen. This is useful so I know that my file exists on the server. Even if the command doesn't execute. And then we could just execute a system command. System. And we can use the $_request signifier. And I'll tell you why that is when we go to actually exploit it. And accept the fhtagn parameter there. We need a semicolon, not a regular colon. There we go. So let's connect to FTP. Anonymous. Let's cd pub. Put Cthulhu.php. Okay. So we've now uploaded Cthulhu.php to the server. We can see it right there. And we should be able to see it here as well. And there it is. You can see that we're echoing Cthulhu fhtagn to the screen. And then we don't see the rest of our PHP. That's because it's being parsed. It's being executed. So we can include fhtagn equals ID. And looky there. We now have remote code execution. Does that make sense? Now here's why we use the $_request signifier. Oh, I'm not going through burp. We have to tell it to use burp. So burp is a web proxy that's going to let me intercept and manipulate my HTTP requests at a granular level. And we can see that it has intercepted our web request here. We can go ahead and right-click on this, send it to repeater. And you can see our request here. And you can see the command being executed. So this is a simple way for us to send web requests. Fun fact, here you can see the user agent where it's actually being sent. It's included as part of the HTTP request. So the reason we used... The reason we use $_request is because we could have used $_get or $_post. But I like $_request because it'll take either of them. So I can just right-click on this and I can go change request method. It'll change it to a post method. And now we're in a post request. We can send that. And we still get our command execution. This is useful because there are less bad characters in a post request than with a get request. Get requests have restrictions on the length of the URL that the URL bar can be. It's very, very long, but it's still a restriction. And furthermore, Furthermore, there are more bad characters. There are just more bad characters to deal with, more characters that need to be URL encoded, and so on and so forth. So we can use... Here we can use our Hack Tricks browser extension. You can download this for Chrome or Firefox. This is a free tool you can download. It's called Hack Tools, excuse me. It's called the Hack Tools browser extension. And this is a nice reverse shell generator. 192.168.49.216. Wow. Okay, apparently that didn't type anything. 8443, we copy the reverse shell. We paste it right in here. Now we do need to URL encode it because by default this is application Xform URL encoded, so it is expecting a URL encoded parameter string. So we'll do that. We'll start a netcat listener. We're going to listen on port 8443. And then if this command executes correctly, it's going to connect back to us on this port and spawn a command shell for us. And there we go.
Hackerman.
I'm in. All right, there we go. Got any does anybody have any questions about how that happened? This is called a reverse shell. We're opening a WebSocket to my IP address on the port I was listening on. And then when the connection is made, it will simply spawn a command shell for us, which is what it's done here. Why no RL wrap? Because I prefer to stabilize my shell in a different way. I would use RL wrap on Windows. My mom rang and asked why you didn't use a reverse shell last night. No, I only use very obfuscated, very large bind shells. That's why I have to use the $_request, because even though I think GET requests accept like 4,000 characters, it's a lot longer than 4,000 characters, okay? 4,000 characters is selling it short. Does anybody have any questions about what just happened? So now we're in kind of a jerry-rigged reverse shell. It's not ideal. It does let us execute commands, but we see it echoes the command back to us. If we try to use tab autocomplete, it won't work properly. Like the typical conveniences of your shell are not present. So what we can do is we can use Python 3 to sort of stabilize our shell by spawning a sudo tty. It's less likely you're going to randomly lose your shell. And now we're operating in a Python 3 process. Now we can background this shell. We can do stty raw minus echo. So raw is going to tell my Kali terminal to just send to not parse any of my command inputs at all, any of my like control C's and so on, and just send them through reverse shell unmodified. Minus echo is just going to disable terminal echo. Terminal echo is this thing where it echoes the command back to you before it executes it. I just don't want that. I find it unsightly. And then we're going to foreground the shell again, and we can export term equals xterm 256 color. And we also see that we had our terminal mess up a little bit there. One way you can fix that is by doing stty-a on your Kali terminal. You see you have 32 rows, as in 32 rows longitudinally. 32 rows latitudinally, 32 rows vertically, and 111 rows horizontally. So 32 and 111. So stty rows 32 calls 111. And that should properly cause our terminal to work as expected. Does that make sense? We did a lot of stuff there just to give ourselves a little bit more of a workable shell, but now you'll see that tab autocomplete now works. Like I can tab autocomplete. Terminal echo is disabled. You can control C, and it doesn't kill your process. It doesn't kill your reverse shell. Does that make sense? Vertical rows, in other words. Fuck you, Knight of Dark. First of all, get bent. In other words, get bent, Knight of Dark. Okay? So we are the www data user. The first thing we should do as the www data user is just look for credentials. Are there any credentials anywhere that are interesting to us? What is this SEO file? It's more, you can't read robots.txt stuff. Cat.htaccess. Yeah, so here's where it's doing the, this is how it's this is how it's Baidu. MSN bot as well. So Bing actually would have worked. Technically. But this is how it's doing the filtering to redirect us to SEO.html instead of robots.txt. It's doing it in this htaccess file. Is there anything else in here? No? Okay. Let's see what groups we're in. www data. Let's see. There was the Tom user. Let's see if there's anything in here. Root shell and root shell.c. Okay. We see we can read the local.txt file. So let's cat local.txt. And we can put that in over here. Okay, so we put the flag in. We still need to get root. Now we see that this bash history file is empty. It is not piped to dev null, but it is empty. And we do see, what do we notice about this? Look at this line and tell me what you notice. 740, I saw it. It's executable by everybody. That's correct. That's what this X means. What else is it? S! What is that S? This little S right there. What does that mean? Yeah, set user ID. Remember, we talked about this on the last box. It didn't actually amount to anything. But this bit, when this bit is set, that means that no matter who executes this shell, it will execute as the shell's owner, which is root. And we see that we can execute it. So let's just go root shell. Oh no, we're not Tom. Feels bad, man. So we need to get to Tom, it looks like. Let's check .ssh. So we need, it looks like we need to be Tom. But we can see the source code here. Hang on, let's just look at the source code really quickly. See if there's a way to bypass that. I regret my life choices. Cat root shell.c. Checking if you are Tom. It's doing who am I, and it's literally checking to see. It's just executing who am I. This is p open, it's process open. It's running the process who am I, and then it's reading the standard out from the process. It's reading the username in there, and it's checking to see if our username is Tom. And it looks like it will execute as root at that point. I hated that they included the source code. That does seem a little bit unnecessary. I'm not really getting anything out of it. Like, I know what it's doing. Now, is there a way to bypass this that we can look at really quickly? Is this opening a file? I thought popen was process open. Is that opening a file? If that's opening a file, then... popen? In C? I'm assuming this is written in C. It is C. Execute the command. No, it executes the command. This is from my... Fuck off. This is from my course. Fuck off. Oh, I get it. This is just, it just looks different than it usually does. Okay? It just tell you what. I'll spy, I promise you I'll spy it immediately. Watch, ready? We're gonna look at it. We're gonna look at it in strings instead. Which strings do we have strings? We do. Good. Strings root shell.c. Or just root shell. We're just gonna look at the strings of the actual executable. And I promise I'll see what he's referring to immediately. I already see it. But I'm not primed to see it in source code. I'd see this. I just see a command getting executed. What does this mean? Why is this bad? This is where I normally see this particular vulnerability. Come on, Al. This is in my course. Get bent. Yeah, this is a relative path. So, who am I is an executable on the system. So we, like, which who am I? It's located in user bin who am I. Okay? Let's look at the... We look at this. But how does... So when this file executes who am I, you're not telling it where who am I is located. How does your shell know where who am I is located? How does your shell know where to find the command who am I? Yeah, it's in the path. Echo $path. There's an environment variable that specifies where Linux should look for executable files. So if there's a relative path specified, that's what this is called, a relative path. First, Linux is going to look in user local sbin, and it's going to look for an executable called who am I located in there. If it doesn't find it, it's going to go to user local bin, and that's where who am I is at, or no, it's actually in user bin, which is actually here. If it doesn't find who am I here, it's going to look here, and then it'll actually find it. And then it'll execute it. So what if we put a different executable? What if we made a different executable file and named it who am I and put it earlier in the path? This executable will execute a different shell than intended. Will execute a different program. It'll find a different program. So the simplest way is just do, we can just do, like, do we have nano? Nano, who am I? And we can, like, make another reverse shell here. Let's make it call back on 8444 this time. Bin bash. Paste that in. So we're making a very simple bash script. Permission denied. Oh, I can't write to Tom's directory. How silly of me. No. Let's go to /dev shm. You could also do it in temp, probably. Let's check to see if it's executable in here. Shared memory is not always executable. We're fine. So nano, who am I? Just write a bash script. Paste that in. Okay. Chmod plus x, who am I? Okay. So now we have an executable file called who am I in here. We go back to home, Ted. No, it's, what was it? Tom. Now what do we need to do? We need to set dev shm in our environment, path environment variable. Very easy to do. Export export path is equal to /dev shm $path. Now if we do echo $path, we see that dev shm is at the very beginning of our path environment variable. So when root shell goes to look for who am I, it's going to go to dev shm first, and it's going to find the wrong shell. It's going to find the wrong who am I. And before we do this, we might want to... In fact, I just realized I did this differently than I could have, but it's fine. It's going to work anyways. Root shell. And look, now it hangs. Why is it hanging? Not how's it hanging. Everybody asks how's it hanging, but not why is it hanging. Why is the shell hanging, chat? Okay, cut the tape. Cut the tape. That's what I wanted you to see, okay? Obviously, we're going to get dub data because the file has not yet set its user ID to 0, okay? Obviously, that was a test. That was a test. I was expecting someone to stop me. Chat has been defeated again. Tested once more. No, the way you're supposed to do this is do at dev shm nano who am I. Chat failed. Indeed, chat did fail. I am let down by chat today. You can just do echo Tom. We're just going to have this return the username Tom. So if we execute this, Tom. Right? Tom. Yes. So now we go back to home Tom. And there we go. I did it properly this time. And now we're notice that our path is still set to, this is executing the wrong who am I, right? If we specify user local bin who am I, okay, where is who am I located? Where is who am I? Which who am I? God damn it. Where was it again? Is it user bin? User bin. It was user bin, wasn't it? There you go. So if you execute the proper who am I, we get root. Does that make sense? Chat has been tested. Indeed. Chat has been tested and found wanting. Okay? I expect better, chat. And we can cat out the proof.txt and get the root flag. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions about any of that? We'll do Stream Raiders here in a second. And I will answer questions the whole time and get caught up on follows and subs. There we go. We've rooted inclusiveness. Well done, everyone. Would this method still work if the root account was executing the root shell file? No. Why? Why wouldn't it work? I don't think it would work that way, Tiberius. SH and Bash try to dump their permissions, so it probably wouldn't work. Because root, you cannot change the path environment variable of root. This path hijack requires you to change the path environment variable most of the time. You need to be able to either change the path environment variable, or you need to be able to write to the directories earlier in the path than the executable you're trying to exploit. And most of the time, you're not going to be able to write to those directories because they're writable only by root. Any other questions? Start another battle. Get caught up on subs. If Alhazard ever gets engaged, the community needs to chip in for weird strippers dressed as cephalopods. Don't threaten me with a good time, okay? I'm a cephalopod enthusiast, okay? Why are you executing real Who Am I give you root? Because we were root. At that point, we were the root user. So executing the real Who Am I is going to tell us that we're root. Thor this week or next? I'm still on the fence of if I'm actually going to go see Thor. It is directed by Taika Waititi, which means that I'm hoping for another Thor Ragnarok experience. Thor Ragnarok fucking slaps. Like, it's one of the best Marvel movies. It's really, really good. And I wasn't expecting it to be good. I was dragged to it by my girlfriend at the time who just wanted to look at Chris Hemsworth. And I went just to please her. And it turned out that fucking movie was... I think I liked it more than she did. Like, I fucking love that movie. So I don't know if I'm going to go see it or not. I'm on the fence. I don't really like Marvel. I don't usually go to see Marvel movies anymore. But if this one is close to Thor, it has a similar vibe to Thor Ragnarok, I may like it. So we'll see. All right, let's get caught up. Jiffaram with the 69. Nice. Tiggle biddies. Thank you so much. Times 2. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I missed that. Igor Izdarenko. Matulai. Datalore TV. Pavetta Fionalin. Kokeri. Coker Ali, I think. Fabricio. Black Flame. Derp Gamer. Insanic. Somero. Some rando from California. I'm the sane. Skazera. Frizzy. And Luigi Zequeel. Thank you for the follows. Cthulhu Fountain to all of you. Breaksec with the raiding right at the end of the stream. I'm so sorry. This is the end of the stream. We're going to be... I'm answering questions, and then we're going to be raiding somebody ourselves. Breaksec, thank you so much for the 3-month re-indoctrination, though. Welcome back to the All Has Red team. I guess we're raiding Taggart. He's doing Attack on Tuesday today. Do you remember me? Of course I remember you, Kacha Limbu. Of course I remember you. I was not ignoring you. If I missed one of your messages in chat, I apologize. Great stream. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jiffaram. We'll be back on Thursday for Cthulhu Thursday, doing more difficult boxes, but also answering questions and molding per usual. First stream was great. We'll be back. Hey, thanks for watching, LJ. That's me. It's good to have you here. Welcome to the cult. I'm sorry. For legal reasons, we no longer call it a cult. We're calling it a passionate club of cephalopod enthusiasts. Okay? So if anybody asks, you know, passionate club of cephalopod enthusiasts. Did you end up doing the Kubernetes room? We have not done the Kubernetes room yet. The chat keeps not picking it. I keep giving chat the option. They keep not picking it. They're picking the boxes they think I'm more likely to mold against. So, eventually we'll get around to doing that Kubernetes box. That's up to chat, honestly. All right, let's raid Taggart. He's doing Attack on Tuesday. I don't know exactly what he's up to right now. Let's find out. Thanks for the stream, Mr. Sir. Oh, wow. That's just call me Sir. My dad is Mr. Sir. Okay, he is doing API hijacking, apparently. So he's doing some pen testing himself on stream. Taggart's a good dude, close friend, and you're in good hands over there. Thank you guys so much for being here. As always, I'll be back on Thursday. I stream on Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Sunday is more EU-friendly time at 2 p.m. Eastern. Usually my other streams are at 5 p.m. Eastern. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm glad you learned. I hope you added a few wrinkles to that brain. Go to bed tonight knowing a little bit more than you did yesterday. I'll see you guys again when the stars are right. Stay safe. Love you all.